I think it's very important that we help the market grow.
We are looking to connect the humans to the IoT network.
Problem is, if it looks weird, it's going to take much longer to be accepted.
The Internet of Humans. Why do we want to build it? Welcome back to IDUN Technologies, our beautiful office in Apfelkern in Switzerland. My name is Mark Malikovic. I'm an application engineer here. I'm joined today by our co-founders, Simon and Séverine.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So, IDUN Technologies, it's a company where we develop brain-computer interface technology and also electrodes. And today we want to talk a bit more about the founding story, about why we're doing this, about where you're leading us. So, big question.
The difficult questions, yeah.
What's the Internet of Humans? Why do we want to build it?
Simon, you're the expert on Internet of Humans.
Okay. So I guess the idea is really that nowadays we obviously have the Internet of Things, which is already quite a big topic. And we are looking to connect the humans to the IoT network. So basically that means that if you are connected to your smart home applications or your basically every favorite application you're using throughout your day, for example Spotify, the idea is that we can create a world that reacts to you, that reacts to your emotional needs, that reacts to whatever you need at this specific point in time. And obviously it's very personalized. So you, for example, like to listen to a certain type of music. I, for example, like to listen to another kind of music. So it's very personalized. And we're enabling that with our full stack sensor technology, which we are probably going to talk about a bit more in a minute. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it.
But you you grew up in Switzerland and you're like, I want to develop the Internet of Humans?
Yeah, that's. I think my mom told me that those were my first words.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So no, I guess obviously.
Internet for Menschen.
Internet for Menschen. No, it developed obviously over time. So in the beginning, when we were studying at ETH Zurich, I think what was there from the beginning was the wish to do our own thing, to do our own startup, our own company. So this was really this passion we had. And then obviously we were looking for an opportunity. We were looking for what can we actually do. And we found a very supportive professor. And then we had this course at ETH and it was all about the idea creation. And it wasn't really that in the first evening we sat together and we had this lean canvas or whatever. We didn't really think about, let's do the Internet of Humans. So idea creation is a process. It's not really just this eureka moment that people always think you will get. Yeah.
And so how far along are we on this journey from, you had a seed round, there's a generation of the idea, then you have to actually start to build stuff and release products to the world. How far away are we actually from Internet of Humans, do you think?
So I think the most important point, and I think that's also why we started and why we keep doing it, we wanted to help healthy humans keep being healthy. And that was always a challenge for us, how do we get to healthy people? Because when you go into the medical field, if you're sick, then you will wear stuff that are uncomfortable for you to become healthy again. But it always has been a challenge for us. How do we get to healthy people?
Yeah.
And so it's a way how can we generate or record data that are going to be helpful for the person recording it? That's always been also very important to us. We don't want the data to be a marketing product for other companies, but mostly for you in the center. Okay, I have all those possibilities around me, this whole digital world. They are great sources of, I would say, healing potentials or staying healthy potentials. But you have to have a feedback, usually, a real feedback to you.
Yeah.
And the only way to get real feedback to you, it's either you know yourself really well, that you know exactly what you want and what you need. And this is I would say, life journey.
Well, but that also goes into some of the themes that we have over the past decade, I would say, like from meditation to
Yeah.
mindfulness, is people who like push this idea of like centering yourself and understanding yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it is very important, and the other resources that you have to get to know yourself can be biodata. It can be like how you interact with the internet. Like, I mean, we are being recorded. Google knows our psychology quite well. I think they might know us better than sometimes we do. But you don't really get access to this data. It's mostly a marketing data to give you content that you want for selling more products.
Yeah.
And so I think the Internet of Humans that we want to build, it's like getting yourself or helping yourself to know yourself and make sense out of the digital inputs that are going to help you become a better self. Or, I mean, we've always talked about how are we going to say this? You don't need to be a better self, but like just be kind to yourself. And
Be more comfortable with yourself.
yeah,
I guess,
and the one point is it's data. Or you know yourself really well, that can happen, but also you can also get to know yourself through data. I mean, everybody now is wearing a pulse. You have some kind of pulse measurement, so we are very comfortable with the heart as a biodata, helping you on reduction of stress and getting to know what specific, I don't know, sports or meditation or whatever, breathing exercise helps you. And I think this is a really nice biometric. And we truly believe that the brain is going to become the next HRV. And it's much more personal, much more complex, but this is the getting to the Internet of Humans. You need the data first, and we are building this piece, this really important piece of how to get the data.
Yeah.
And then it's everything around it, like how do we give it to you as a person. And
I feel like this is actually a very important point you're touching upon. I mean, there are we see that as different waves. So basically, the first thing that you need, as Séverine mentioned, to get to the data is actually have the sensors on the body. And this is already one of the biggest construction sites when you look at wearables these days. Of course, you have some things that have been accepted, like the watch, because it's easy to use.
Yeah.
But when we think about brain data, there is not really yet a form where you can get accurate, continuous brain data in your everyday life. So this is the first construction site that we want to tackle with the things that we develop. And the perfect platform we see is hearables, earbuds, basically having sensors in it to record your EEG. So, and then we go from the sensor platform, which is the first wave, into the data. And then it's really about, I mean, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people can monitor EEG. So the question is really, what do we make out of it? And there we are thinking about emotional state characterization. So really understanding how does a person feel and how does it actually look like in the EEG. And one thing that we are working on is when you are basically faced with emotional content, maybe music or video, then we're looking for cues in the EEG, what is happening as a reaction. And when we have achieved that, and this is already, I guess, quite a big work package, when we have achieved that, then it's also about the application side. Where can we use this understanding optimally? And there are many different areas which are really interesting, for example, in the consumer space, such as gaming, or also, as you mentioned, mindfulness, meditation, music obviously is a big topic as well. But a bit further down the lane, I guess, there are also applications which are a bit more health and well-being related. I guess the concept of, at some point in time, maybe preventing a lifestyle-induced depression, for example, that could be really interesting. So I guess it is really a journey. And you asked us in the beginning, where do we stand in the journey? I guess if you look at it from one angle, from the startup IDUN angle, I think we have come very far. But if you look at it from the other angle, from the big picture, there's also a long way still to go.
Yeah, I mean, like I think about stepping stones within this context, because we've had augmented reality for decades. We've had virtual reality. It's now very accessible. It doesn't necessarily take off in a wide consumer sense. And now when we talk about wearables, we have the evolution of hearables. We have the evolution of wearables and metrics that we're getting. So the brain, I think, is a big step for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because right now a lot of people are still getting used to thinking about the context of how many steps they take in their daily life and how that might or may not actually be affecting their health. So this it seems like this is a big product question. How do you get not just introduce a concept, but introduce it in a way that people want this in their lives? They realize that this is something that can actually help them.
I think I guess there are two aspects to it. One is it needs to be easy to use. So this is like a prerequisite. Otherwise, it just after 2 days, you're like, okay, whatever. So yeah, so it needs to be really plug and play. But this is not enough. This is not enough. What you need to have on top of it is tangible, additional value through that product. You really need to feel in your everyday life, okay, this is making a difference. And I would assume that the second thing is harder to achieve without having the first thing, the easy to use. So it's really, it kind of needs to be both to be a good product. And I feel like this is also what we're trying to build with these two aspects.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing also is just the growth of neurotechnology startups in general. If we go back to Muse, this was already starting quite a long time ago. And the question is, they've had a certain impact in the market.
Definitely. Yeah.
And now we have new ideas coming up because we have smaller devices that can be integrated easier into our lives. So where do you think the first impactful, wider acceptance of neurotechnology might fall over the next 5 years?
That's a really good question. I think if you want to go into the consumer market, then it's really the hearable is a really good platform. Because the problem is, if it looks weird, it's gonna take much longer to be accepted. I always take this example of Google Glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Technology probably was super nice, but it
Way
looks
ahead of its
weird.
time.
And
Yeah,
for some
looks
people,
weird.
it was actually very normal for them. And then for other people, it was let's start a fight and
And
stop filming me.
brain-computer interface is currently there are a few examples where I think they really look nice, but still you see that you're wearing something weird. So it's not yet for everybody. So if we can make it very seamlessly integrated in wearables that are worn every day, then I truly believe it's going to work. It's like pulse measurement. There are many areas where you can measure the pulse optically, and they all are going for the watch because the watch is being something worn. The Oura ring is also kind of an interesting example because it's something that you wear also all the time.
But actually that is more focused on sleep, because for the day it's almost too bulky.
Yeah.
There are some people who wear it every day, yeah, that's for sure.
Wearing a ring to sleep doesn't make sense for me, from a perspective.
Yeah, that's true. From a product perspective, it actually doesn't make sense.
Because you also have already these patterns in your life where it's you go to sleep in a certain way, and many times you say you want to improve your sleep quality, you need a regime that you're following, and it's repetitive. So the interesting thing, I think, is how the VCI technology can easily integrate into the things we're already doing, as opposed to making us change. Because anytime we have to change, it's a barrier to adoption. And I think that was one of the biggest, even with virtual reality, that's one of the biggest things.
You
still have to have a device, you have to put it on, and maybe if it gets integrated into glasses, so it's more like ski goggles, it could be more useful overall. The
topic that you mentioned with the additional device is actually important, because when you look at the example of Muse, it had its followers and the enthusiasts about meditation, but I guess the limitation there was that you had to buy an additional device. You had to put it on every time when you were meditating, and maybe it did really even break your flow getting there. I want to have some time for myself, but first I need to put that thing on my head and whatever. So really introducing an additional unknown to this point form factor is a big problem.
Yeah.
So if you could think about the functionality of a Muse headband through your earphones or earbuds, that would be really an added value, I think. Or you position it really as a brand where the user, when he or she is buying that product, it's also sending a message out. Like, I'm proud that I'm using that product, like the Apple Watch, for example. I mean, they had the benefit that people actually have known the concept of a watch long before, obviously.
Yeah.
But still, I feel like it was a big marketing statement.
Well, and they also tried to go in a way towards the luxury market. So it's not just a device, but it's like a status symbol in some ways for people, but
Yeah.
also highly functional.
Yeah.
It is a status symbol. Apple really made that. They're really good at branding.
Yeah, but I remember first people laughed a bit about the Apple Watch, and now it has become such a big platform. It's,
Yeah, I mean, it's like
really
the
impressive.
hearables.
Yeah.
I remember I thought like the true wireless. I thought that looks so weird.
It makes the same thing also like with the first cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, why would you need to take this around? You know, maybe for global leaders this will be helpful, but why would a normal person need to talk to someone else at any time they want?
Yeah, I feel like for us as a startup, this is maybe not the fight we want to take up, basically, because I mean, if you're a big brand as Apple, then this can also be a differentiation to your competitors, obviously. Like, we're putting this thing out there and we are using consumers as ambassadors for the product. But if you think about a small startup with a very ambitious vision, maybe you don't want to take up that fight and convince the everyday user to wear something which looks a bit weird. So this is also why we decided it's probably the easiest to use the hearables, for example, as a platform. And also obviously because the market trend is really going in that direction, that everybody will have just very small earbuds in their ears. And you mentioned like the adoption hurdle of BCIs. I feel like sleep is actually one of the applications where also with the...
No,
with
you
the,
don't see it.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also with the product that Bose just released, I feel like also this, it's moving in that direction, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you see that like there's problems that we have in society that people want solutions for, that they're paying for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sleep is quite a big problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, it's
definitely.
amazing too because we have a lot of simple solutions like sleep and exercise,
Yeah.
which are getting to be even more well researched, and we see that okay, if you just exercise more, if you just sleep well, that can improve your life in many dramatic ways.
yeah.
So facilitating that, I think, is really logical. That's something people can really grab onto, as opposed to going automatically into these ideas of everything is reacting to your environment. But I mean, it has to be reacting for a reason, and it's like the emotional understanding of people. I think is one key component that's been missing in this evolution of technology that's around us.
Yeah. I feel it's a really powerful idea to make machines or digital systems understand you, even if it sounds a bit very futuristic, I guess. But it would be nice because now you have to do everything consciously. You have to decide on, I don't know, even if you have like a smart lighting at home, you still have to actively decide what kind of color I do want to have, or what kind of music I want to listen to. And I feel it could be so powerful to have an environment which gives you what you need to relax or to focus.
I mean, it's amazing, like how just how difficult it is to make decisions sometimes, even like on basic consumer level. And then someone comes out with a product line which is the simplified running shoe. Like I was just looking at bicycles again yesterday, and I'm like, I have no idea what to make of these 20 different models, even within just this one category that Cannondale is offering.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it also, everything gets a bit more complex every day. So there's so much, for example, if we talk about content, there's like unlimited content to choose from if you are deciding to watch a video or a movie. So this is also kind of a challenge. I mean, it's as you mentioned in the beginning, we don't want to take away this journey of the user to get to know themselves. It's actually more giving them the tools to do that better, to really also see the metrics. How does my body and my brain change if I watch this specific content?
Yeah. So now IDUN Technologies has gone over the first hurdle of releasing the diode product, the electrode connecting to the body. So what do we do next?
So we have like you said, the first product on the market. It's a really nice product to go into this direction of having something comfortable on the body, so tackling healthy people. The second one is going to go through the hair, and this is specifically for BCI. And I think it's very important that we help the market grow in any kind of way, and having comfortable sensors on the head is going to help that matter quite a lot.
Yeah.
So this is like, I think it's like our contribution to the market. But where we are focusing completely, because I think this is where the whole company, the whole heart of the company is really enabling applications that we think are important for people. To stay healthy. I think that always has been something for us, like the preventive part. Preventive sounds bad, but like just like giving you like a buddy, a coach, or like her in the movie.
Yeah.
Just
We had that on one
on one slide. Like,
yeah.
like really someone that can help you.
Yeah.
And I say someone from technology. That's
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, and so that's where we are going next. So for us, like on the technical part, there are like the whole electronics, the whole data architecture on how we classify those data, and the whole neuropsychological understanding of what those data or changes of data mean for a person. And like specifically on the application side, like we want to push some application, not all of them. I think that's where the ethics of the company is gonna has to be very strong at some point. It's like we're not gonna allow any application to be developed on top of those signals, because we want to make a good technology, and there are always two sides with great technologies. So this is something that is quite important to us. And so we have to go more focused on the application to really have this closed feedback loop, because as we talked, without the a feedback that is meaningful for a person, the technology behind it doesn't matter then. So yeah, it's very high focus on the application, and then how to build from there behind it.
I think the next tangible milestone on that is really coming up with the demo room. So we're building this physical place, right, where we want to bring our own people, but also potential stakeholders in that ecosystem here, and introduce them to this hopefully fully immersive experience where they can just connect the sensor and see what happens with the surrounding. And
looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of a mirror into your own self also. Like, okay, if I just let my brain take over, what music will be selected, for example. So this is a concept which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too, because I'm building it with the rest of the people. I mean, for me, it's like just an amazing journey to be able to be in this space where we're bringing this new idea of emotional intelligence to the connected world. So I think the demo room is going to be amazing. It's really going to bring together everything you've been working on, bring together all the new people that are coming into the company, and essentially laying the foundation for the Internet of Humans and building on top of it.
Yes.
So
that will be awesome.
If you'd like to learn more about that, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, our YouTube channel, of course, where we're giving updates about how the Internet of Humans is being built and evolving over the next year.
Yes.
We should do like people can book the demo room and come around.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the first person who comments on the YouTube video will get the first
a free
session.
booking.
Okay.
So hit the like and subscribe button. Oh man.
So thank you.
See you
We'll talk
next
to you next time.
Ciao zusammen.